Welcome back, better investors, to another episode here on the BI Academy channel. And we're looking here at the gold price. We're going to jump straight into it. You see here that gold is at an all-time high. So the price of gold is at a point where we just have not seen it inside of history. It's peaked above its all-time high 2 times now, and it's came back down and it's playing around with that level. And what we're seeing is it's going to take some time before the price of gold goes up and it starts to make what was previous resistance at the all-time highs. It's going to turn that into support. And so what we're seeing here, I have this chart pulled up, and this chart is showing, this is just an example of what I think can happen with the price of gold. So I think the price of gold will come back down to retest some lower levels, maybe the 1900, anywhere between like the higher $1,700s to $1,900 area before it really takes back off and tries for those all-time highs. Now keep in mind too, this is on a longer time frame. So if you're seeing here, it's on the monthly time frame. So when I'm drawing this out on the monthly time frame, it very well could be that it's showing way too much time for how long it'll actually take for this to happen. So it might not go as low at all, and we actually can see gold just burst straight through because it's already made that triple top as a pattern. It could bust straight through those all-time highs and continue higher. And I think that once gold goes through those all-time highs and it breaks through that resistance, makes it support, we're definitely going to probably see gold run up to about $2,500 before it really has a cool off, because that's a nice psychological area where people will say, now that the price of gold is here, can it go any higher, or does it need to go back down to something more reasonable? So the market will start to step in and try to find an equilibrium and price gold either higher or lower once it reaches that psychological level of $2,500. Now let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin. If you see here, the price of Bitcoin came down and it kind of bottomed out around that $30,000 level and really started to create some support. So the original bottom was closer in the $17,000 area before it came up and retest that support, being the trend line here in this scenario, and that was around the $20,000 to $24,000 range. From there, we really saw Bitcoin take off. We're almost going parabolic, if you would. Bitcoin is going straight up. We're seeing green candles. We have 3 green monthly candles in a row. We are on the monthly chart when we're looking at this, and I believe that the price of Bitcoin will continue up, but not before we have some kind of a breather. So here's what that breather looks like. If you see here, I mapped out what I think can happen. I think that we can come back down. We can see some support around $37,000. Once we break out from that support, it might come back and retest the $40,000 level before going even higher. But there will be some pullbacks in between. I don't think that we shoot straight up to the all-time highs of where we were around that $60,000 level. There will be some pullbacks in between, but we definitely can see Bitcoin at all-time highs by the end of this year, 2024. Now let's take a quick look at the S&P, and you'll see here that the S&P 500 is actually at the all-time high now. So do we see a breakthrough? Are we going to see some new price discovery, or do we see a double top action and we have some price action that brings the price back down? When we look at the US dollar index, we see that it's falling currently at the moment and coming back to some support. So right around the 100 area. And it's also could potentially come all the way back down to where you see that trend line is continuing that uptrend. If it breaks through that trend line and continues down, this could be the case for why we see gold go higher, stocks go higher, and even Bitcoin go higher. Here's what I put, what I think can happen with the chart. If you see here, I think that we break through the trend line and we come back to test what was previous support for resistance before heading even lower. I think that the stock market will be the one, because it's had so much price discovery, it's went up for so long, it'll be the one to crack first. Based on what history has showed us, I just don't think all these assets will appreciate at the same time. Here from Fortune, Jeremy Grantham, who is a legendary stock investor and he's also a billionaire, says that there's a 70% chance of the market crashing, and it could be an epic burst like 1929, which, to remind you guys, for the people that weren't there, I wasn't there either, that is around the Great Depression, okay? Here's another billionaire with a warning. Leon Cooperman warns investors of a stock market euphoria. And euphoria here, of course, means that everybody thinks the market is just going to keep going up, and that's how people get hurt. You see it all the time. Oh, stock market always goes up. Just keep investing into the stock market and you can't go wrong. What better way to bring a close to the video than to look back at the S&P 500, and you see here I put what I think could potentially happen. I think that we have a breakthrough, but it's a fake out, and it's not new price discovery. It's actually just putting in that blow off top moment that is going to allow the market to correct itself greatly. It's going to come back down. It's not going to go straight down. It's going to retest some prior levels of support, turn those into resistance, and you see that around the 4,100 and 4,000 point level. And what we can see is when it turns those previous supports into resistance, we're going to be in for a big correction in the market, which will be a nice opportunity for some people, but a lot of people will be hurt by it. As always, I appreciate everyone for being here, especially the people that stay into the end of the video. Better investments equals a better future. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys inside the next video.
Change everything. Feel like I can change everything. I'm planning on changing the game.